When she has pulled him aside, she asks, "Child, why have you treated us like this? Look, your father and I have been searching for you in great anxiety." And any mother who has lost a child only for a moment in the mall knows this feeling. Your first response is to want to hug the breath out of the child because you have found him. And your second response is to want to choke the life out of the child for wandering away in the first place. "Why have you treated us like this?" Mary demands. And Jesus, who seems surprised by her reaction, says, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know I would be in my Father's house?" I love the way the King James Version puts it. "Wist ye not that I must be about my Father's business?" I think if Mary hadn't wanted to choke the life out of him before, she would have just after that. The usual take on this story is that Jesus, at age 12, was remarkably self-aware. That even then, he knew who he was and what he would become. "Wist ye not that I must be about my Father's business?" he asks, as if Mary should have known all of this, and maybe she should. Hadn't the angel Gabriel told her that the child born to her would be called Great, the Son of the Most High? Hadn't her cousin Elizabeth said, "Who am I that the mother of my Lord should come to me?" Hadn't those shepherds burst into the stable telling Mary what the angels had told them about the Savior of the world who had been born that night? Didn't old Simeon and Anna confirm the ancient prophecies about this child? Mary should have known, shouldn't she, that when you bring the Son of God to Jerusalem, he's going to want to spend a little time with his Father. Or at least that's the way Jesus makes it sound. One of the reasons this story is in our Bibles, certainly, is because it suggests that from a very early age, Jesus was aware of his true identity. But there's something else going on here that may be equally important. When my brother Scott was 12 years old, he loved books more than anything else on earth. We had a set of shelves in an upstairs room that went from wall to wall and floor to ceiling, and it was filled up with books. And Scott had read every one of them, even Hawaii, that novel by James Michener that goes on for 960 pages. It made it easy for the rest of us. When we were looking for a good book, we would just ask Scott. He would give us an on-the-spot review. "That's a good one. You might like this one. This is more at your age level." But it must have been hard on him. Having gobbled up everything in the house, he was desperate for something new. And so our monthly trips to Charleston, West Virginia, to the public library there, were occasions of great joy. My brother would sit in the back seat of our station wagon beaming the whole way, and if you had asked him, he would have said, "I was glad when they said unto me, 'Let us go to the Kanawha County Public Library.'" But we all loved that library. It was 3 stories tall, right downtown, a sturdy, classical building with a modern bronze water fountain in front. We would carry empty cardboard boxes with us when we went, and then go up to the 3rd floor, the children's floor, and check out every book we could, which was a lot of books. We filled up those boxes and took them home, and for the next few weeks we were entertained, and Scott for the next few days. It was one of those times when he had finished reading every book in the box and the rest of us were just getting started that my dad announced he was headed to Charleston for an all-day meeting. And Scott said, "Well, let me come with you. I won't be any trouble. You could just drop me off at the library. I could stay there all day." And Dad thought that was a reasonable request. So he helped Scott make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, packed a lunch, and together the two of them drove off to Charleston. Sometime just before supper that night, my dad came in through the back door whistling. He gave my mother a hug and a kiss, and she said, "Where's Scott?" "Oh my goodness," he said, and then he bolted out the back door. The way he told the story later, it took him about 20 minutes to make what was usually a 45-minute trip to Charleston. He screeched to a stop in front of the public library, got out of the car, raced up those marble steps, went all the way up to the third floor, and began his frantic search for his son. He found him just a few minutes later, sitting on the carpeted floor between the stacks of books, reading. Piles of books all around him, totally engrossed in what he was doing. My dad came to him and said, "Scott, I am so sorry." But Scott looked up with this puzzled expression on his face as if to say, "Wist ye not that I must be in the public library?" Scott was passionate about books. It was what he loved more than anything else on earth. If he had run away from home in those days, we would have known just where to find him. And I wonder if Jesus' presence in the temple didn't have more to do with that than with anything else. Do you remember that time on the road near Caesarea Philippi when he rebuked Simon Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan, you are not thinking the things of God, you're thinking the things of man"? What if from an early age Jesus loved thinking the things of God? What if it was his passion, as books were for my brother Scott at that age? Do you know how it is with 12-year-old boys? How they can get obsessed about things like Major League Baseball or dinosaurs or skateboarding, and when you talk to them, you can be amazed by their breadth of knowledge on the subject. Just suppose for a moment that that's the way it was for Jesus, that what he loved most of all were the things of God, and that those were the things he wanted to talk about, so that he wore his parents out with his continual questioning. And a trip to Jerusalem, to the temple, would have seemed to him like the most exciting thing in the world.